don't chase average. Now that ain't the standard, above industry standards, built by command.
All right, welcome to AIS. Today is a solo pod, and if you notice, this is not the studio. We are in between studios right now. So we are doing this from the home office. And today we're going to talk through all functional AI use cases for your contracting company. This is going to be some low-hanging fruit tips, tricks on how to get set up using Claude or Codex or ChatGPT. To start off, like it's kind of, I think like one mark of intelligence is how simply you can explain complex things. I don't have a simple way to explain this really. And maybe it's just because things are changing so quick and I'm just kind of going by the seat of my pants with a lot of it. But I'm just going to hop in and we're going to do mostly screen share the entire time. And we're just going to go rock and roll with that. So first, there's a few different things I want to show you guys. One is we use Zed as our interface. There's a ton of different interfaces out there. There's one cursor, I believe. We actually made our own. It's called Cody. But Zed is essentially the way we communicate with Claude. So you can have, it's called a CLI. And so we have a Claude CLI, which is, I believe, a command line interface is what the acronym stands for. And there's also MCPs. So an MCP server, which is a modular context process. Let me see. I have it right here, actually. Yeah, model context protocol. Excuse me. So with that said, when you have this right here, I'm basically talking to Claude, and Claude has access to, we use VPS, so just like cloud servers, that has all of the information we want it to have, and all of our projects and apps and financials and everything in there. And so you can say, Claude, what are your capabilities? And what do you have access to? All right, then you let it cook, right? We'll put it over here for a minute. I know, David, you're gonna have to block out all of those IPs and VPS locations. Sorry. Okay, so right here, and this is actually just missing a few. The tough part I've found with anytime you're talking to Claude, it's like you're talking to a super intelligent 5-year-old that has amnesia. Oh, like you say something to it in one session, like this session right here, and then you can save it, or you could, like, obviously if you're working on a project, like have a GitHub repository for it. We use like a centralized server that we save everything to. But like, let's say I didn't save anything and I just went here and went Claude Agent again. It now just got amnesia. It has no idea what I was just talking about. There's a few MCPs that you could install and a few skills you can install for continuity memory. Like right here, it has like recent, like this. I could pull up this session that happened and it'll load that context. So then it has the context of what we were working on. But like anytime you just click and start a new session, it basically has amnesia. So here's what I kind of want to show you guys is, as a contractor, there's just like any business, really, there's a ton of moving parts. There's marketing and sales, all the operations, which is very operational heavy, finance, HR, which is also very intensive. And all these departments have their own processes and their own little hard silos that it's tough to break down. And I'm a big believer that all information is required to make good decisions. And any position in our company, everyone should have all the information to make those decisions. And so that's why we created a internal operations hub. We have 3 different business units. We have KHB Construction, we have Next Day Fix, we have Hometown Stone, These are all my little, side projects. Like we made a poly market prediction bot. I'm working on that right now. And then like a flag football app, a fantasy sports app, Prompt Sub, which is actually super sick. And this episode is sponsored by Prompt Sub. So check Prompt Sub out. But all of this, all of our management has access to pretty much everything we need. Next Day Fix, for example, we made a property management CRM that actually scrapes all of Google Places API and LoopNet and all these different places that have property managements, scrapes them, puts them in here, and we have a fresh pipe of leads that we can call, we can contact, make different clients, all of that, right? For our handyman company, because we do rent ready, restoration, and some other stuff there. And then here, like we have our playbook. So this is like a trainual for different roles, right? So the SOP, our sales approach walk. We have all of our ops management, different tools in here. So just like more procedural, SOPs, which are, since we've implemented AI, are kind of antiquated. Pre-construction, how this works. Different workflows for like accounting, daily logs, how to implement. So a lot of our managers make their own processes and how to implement those processes. That SOP is in here too. And since this, we have 85 SOPs in here. I have switched SOPs to really be more playbooks. So like operations, there should be the rule book in here. Yeah, it's more like a playbook, like the parameters of operation, if you will, the rules of engagement. But like every company, everyone should be able to see everyone's deliverables, right? Like your estimator should be able to see what your salesperson is responsible to handing off the estimation. Same thing for your superintendent in the field should know what the project manager is doing. It shouldn't just be some guy in a faraway office. Like they should know his deliverables. So that's been really important. The one thing I'm working on right now is making transparent client portals to where they can see visually. I'm working on the schedule right now. But they could see basically everything that has to do with their project. And then we could also change what they can and can't view. So we can update in here from our project management software, and custom reports would pop up. We can see the schedule, any change orders, activity. We can see who's working in there, invoice schedules, and then just overall general dashboard of all this. And on the client side, they would have like a little interface here, and we would be able to drag and drop, what we want them to see in what order. So like if they owe money, like, hey, you owe money, gotta pay. So just little things like that is just super functional use case for AI in your company. Some other things, weekly reporting. So this is essentially, we recreated Monday.com. And, don't worry about some of the SLA notifications. It's not all fine-tuned yet. We're still using Monday.com. Like all of this, we can go through and be able to see, where everything's at. And then we built kind of like a heat map of, and this is more for me, like when are our people most active on our CRM? So like when are we updating clients? When are we moving stages? Also tracking the time of stage movement so we can have a velocity on different revenue size projects. So we can see, does a full home that's worth $500,000 move just as fast as a kitchen that's worth, $100,000? Well, if that is true, we need to make some decisions around kitchens and change up our process probably, because the juice might not be worth the squeeze if we can go get a $500,000 on repeat at the same velocity as a 100K project. So anyways, as you can see, what I thought was hilarious was Fridays and beginning of the week is a lot of our movement. We do have a few, hot spots here and here. But you can tell Friday by far is when most of people are putting in the end of the week results of what happened that week. And then Mondays as well. There's consistent updates in the afternoon. So I thought that was interesting. And then there's just some AI stage insights, which we're fine tuning there as well. Let's go back. So all of this seems like really cool. Ooh, actually, this is really cool. The permit intel. So this is a permit scraper for whatever county you work in. You can make like all the counties you work in and then scrape all the permits that have happened there. And I've made like a market share calculator that shows how much KHB and Hometown are like penetrating in the markets we operate and who are the big players there. And then where are those big players working? And then I could cross-reference that with meta ad campaigns. And because now with the privacy, you can actually see the ads people are serving. And are there any like custom cater things going on there? And then their landing pages on their websites. I can go really deep into competitor market share. And then we could also start targeting architects and designers. And this has been huge. We actually got a $1.6 million lead from this, from just calling architects who were submitting the types of projects we want in our area. Just gave them a call and introduce ourselves. And we got an at-bat. It's easy, kind of cool to see the ramp up week by week, what types of counties are submitting. So yeah, just once again, super practical information for operating your business. Now, the one thing, like if I were someone who was a contractor and had no idea what was going on in the world of AI, I imagine I would just, there'd be so overwhelming, I wouldn't know where to start. And the best place to start is straight up right on, like I would suggest Claude. Claude is probably the best you can do. They came out with their kind of co-work solution that has access to your computer and it can do stuff for you, do repetitive things for you. You can craft emails. But the best thing about AI is that information is no longer an excuse. Just because you don't know, that's not an excuse anymore. It used to be that there was no such thing as a stupid question in the world, you know, like you could, any question. I used to say this to our people all the time. There's no such thing as a stupid question. There is such thing as a stupid question now because you have a Claude or ChatGPT or Grok or whatever you want to use at your fingertips. So the best thing you can do is go get the $20 a month subscription. You don't need the Pro Max because you're not going to be coding right off the bat. And go ask it what it's capable of. And just I use the dictation on ours. And I'll just talk about all the hopes and dreams in my head of like all the headaches I have at work and all the things that I wish were different. And then ask for solutions. And it will literally give you the roadmap to those solutions. One of our commands, and Claude, I believe, has this as a skill. It's the brainstorm skill. And it's a / brainstorm. So actually, here, I'll show you. So here, let's do a new one. And it will kind of like piggyback you along. So you go brainstorm. I hate all my admin work. I think you'll find when I say it's a 5-year-old that has amnesia, it's a 5-year-old because it complains all the time. It will literally just yell at you, I don't have that skill. And it's like, yes, you do. Like, look, now it's fine. We gave the 5-year-old a juice box and now it's fine. Okay. So like that, I hate all my admin work at work. What can we do to automate the day? And by the way, if you're not on YouTube, you really should go to YouTube for this episode. Like it's almost not even worth listening to me type. This is a super interactive one. You can go to the KHB construction page and find this, and I believe the AIS page as well. So anyways, I went / command brainstorming. I told it I hate all my admin work at work. What can we do to automate my day? And then it just starts asking questions. And this is why the brainstorming app, you should always start a new session by brainstorming what you're trying to solve. And I love it because I don't know what I don't know. The AI does, right? And so it's asking questions, and when it finds things that are interesting, it'll take a little, side swipe and be like, oh, you said this, like, let's expand on that. So I could be like 4, right? Data entry. Okay. Say 4 again between my own tools. Let's say lead and job info. And then, so did you notice how like it pyramided my issues? Like, okay, what's the issue? Pick the issue. Okay, of that issue, what are you doing the most? Of what you're doing the most, how can we specifically fix that data issue? And then it dives right into that. And so it gets very specific. And then from here, it's going to basically ask me the journey. And if I wasn't on microphone talking to you guys in the podcast, I would be, manually talking to the interface. And this is why I have actually like a really big take on the future of work. I don't think there's going to be keyboards. I don't think there's going to be like the interface as we typically see it today, because of what I've experienced with these interfaces. It's really weird. And Meta dropped that whole thing that they have a frontal cortex AI that can predict what you're going to do. Terrifying, by the way, because I'm not doing like the whole Neuralink thing, but the fact that they can do that without having a chip in your brain, terrifying. So yeah, and then you just go through all of this. So the full stack is Claude. I use the Max Pro subscription, interface, and then installing Claude on there. And then once you get Claude downloaded, you can literally pull Claude up in here, in your terminal. And then you can install the CLI, and then from there you can connect the CLI to a more user-friendly interface. Let's see what Claude says. Scary. They also have these little funny things like that. Yeah, that's right. So Zed's faster, and it's also simpler. Like Zed's way simpler. Cursor, I didn't like Cursor. And then the interface we actually made at KHB that was custom made, it's called Cody. It is way simpler than Zed. It's like a stripped down version of Zed. So anyways, that's like how to get started. And honestly, I don't need to tell you how to do it, because you could just do the first few steps I said, and then it will literally give you the play-by-play on how to set it up for yourself. One other thing I thought was really interesting was we made a brain, and this brain, and let me backtrack. The brain is a combination of API calls, which an API call is like going and getting information from somewhere else or sending something somewhere else. We have it done. You can think of it that way. So we use Claude as an API call because there's really two ways to connect to the technology. There's an O authorization or an API. Now, OAuth is what we're using like in this terminal and chat and all of that. And it's like an omnipresent connection. You sometimes have to refresh it through terminal. You have to log in. And where an API call happens when something else happens. So like I go and click, send, it could send out an API. Now, where I think the future is going is local LLM models that are specialized to your business. And that's something we have and we are continuing in the near future to invest tens of thousands of dollars into is local AI and the hardware to push it, because software now is irrelevant, and that's gonna be a great clip. Yeah, software is a joke. It's it used to be like technology used to advance and accelerate a process. Well, AI completely replaces it. Software is out, but hardware is gonna be very important. And the downside of hardware is one, it can be expensive, and two, it can antiquate very quickly. So we're trying to be we're trying to future-proof our business as much as possible, and local LLMs is the way to do that. So we actually installed Gwen. It's from Olama, and we have that running locally. And Gwen's really good at parsing information and getting things, from A to B. And the brain is essentially Well, here, basically all the capabilities. It has full access to our financials in QuickBooks, full access to everyone's emails, and a sentiment analysis from subcontractors, clients, project health, schedule tracking, purchase history, and efficiencies of how many times are we going to the store, employee time clock patterns, morning briefings, alerts, has memory as well because it's saving locally. And so it has these data sources that are continuously fed into it. We have Gmail, chat, Drive, calendar, build a trend, monday.com, and then purchases, which is like our Amex. Because that's the one nice thing about our marketing side, a Moonbound agency, is we're a developer for Amex and for monday.com. And so we have all these developer credentials that we can get access to these things and build custom solutions for ourselves at KHB. Anyways, so here, like, this is like just an interface. I could ask it anything. Let's just see what it says. And it's quick. Also, it's kind of cool. 100% confidence. So why aren't, this will be a funny response. Why aren't people paying us? We have some AP issues. So the brain, it's KHB. There's also Hometown in there. We have the hardest time collections with general contractors on commercial work, and it's a big thing. So right now it's scouring all of our emails and everything, and it should come back with a comprehensive response. That's the other thing too. All of this was I built myself, and so if something isn't working, or like if this is taking too long, I just hop right into here and I'll be like, load the brain, and I'll just be, give me a status report. What's going on? Why is it taking so long? We're really tech forward here at KHB Construction, at Hometown, Next Day Fix, and we've just been scouring tools that are AI powered to help our team just squeeze out a little bit more of productivity and efficiency. What I really wanted to highlight was Prompt Sub. So Prompt Sub, it is a application that is AI powered that gives you the right prompt for the situation, and it's specific to contractors. And it really just structures inputs that are high quality. That way the AI can work off of that and give you a quality output. All right, so once you get into profile, you can get in here and put your company name, what type of trade you do, which, you know, this is built for the trades. So it's specific to general contractors, plumbers, electricians, HVAC, which is really cool. It's not just like a one size fits every industry. It's specifically made for contractors. The city, state, years in business, license number, the services that you offer, job size, just all of your enrichment data of your company. And then when you're in prompts, there's a bunch of different filters here for what you're looking to do. So maybe it's you have a bunch of notes and you want to build out a bathroom remodel estimate. Well, you can take a picture of your notes, add it to ChatGPT, and then copy this prompt, and then it will have all the parameters. You're gonna basically make a professional estimate on the output. And then there's also areas like on the workflow side to where you can do like write a winning estimate, which this is like a pro feature to where there's a chain of commands. So first it'll be like organize your scope, paste your notes, your measurements, your pictures, whatever into there. Once you get this output, you go to step 2, and then you give it this prompt, and this refines it and takes it to the next step. And then step 3, plan the follow-up prompt. And so it's a full workflow command where it's a controlled prompt. You can expect the same outcome every single time, project to project, and you can have consistency. Check out Prompt Sub if you're a contractor. It's gonna 10x your quality and consistency. $9.99 a month for the starter, $19.99 a month if you want like all the workflows and all the big stuff. So if you're a contractor looking to adopt AI, or if you're looking to implement AI in your business, I would highly recommend starting off with Prompt Sub. Go sign up today at promptsub.com. So let's see. We'll have to blur out the job names here for privacy. But it's basically showing that like, okay, we had this kitchen 1,705 days ago with a $2,725 outstanding balance. Well, that was credited back. Some of these are like change orders, but obviously this is all coming from QuickBooks on there, and they've all been written off. And for whatever reason, there was a discount or a change order or a credit. And yeah, and then it cites all of its sources. So it went in all the way through. Looks like it pulled a bunch of LinkedIn stuff, which is weird. I'll have to check that out. Anyways, we have efficiency, waste analysis. So this is like our material spend. So how many times are we going to the store, and then why? And then repetitive items going to the store, like Scotch Blue tape. I'm going to buy a Scotch Blue tape factory someday because we buy so much freaking shop blue tape. And then over here on materials, like what we could stock in order to save money. So we equate one Home Depot trip, $50 in labor per trip. And so just that alone, and this is in perpetuity, so like the life of our companies, we would save $49,000 in labor if we purchased $33,000 of materials. Now, usually keeping inventory is kind of like, a bad idea as a contractor because it's literally just cash sitting in a physical form of material. Yet there are some things like microfiber towels, blue tape. I honestly think this a bit conspiracy about buckets. We bought 64 of them. I can't find one in my shop. I really believe our guys just use these as a straight up cart. And then for whatever reason, they take it home. I don't know. They use it for they wash their dog with it. I really don't know. But we've bought 64 of them. I don't know where any of them are at. Contractor bags, that's pretty typical. And then just like the perishables, the caulking and lumber, ABS, the things that are like above the line getting billed to a project. But some of these, like the cloths, the tape, the buckets, the bags, those are, in my opinion, the perishables that we could stock because we are going to use it. One of the things though is like we dropped a bunch of money on branded floor protection, like a KHB logo floor protection. And we had pallets of it. And I thought it looked very professional, and it's just as good as, whatever you get at Home Depot, the RAM board. But then when I was going through this, I found a bunch, $1,700 in RAM board that we purchased. Then I dove into those receipts, and we were buying RAM board at the same time we had KHB branded, essentially RAM board at our shop. And that really rubbed me the wrong way. But honestly, if you're running a contracting company and you have, it's multiple crews, like a lot of employees, it's tough to keep a pulse on everything. And this is just a great equalizer. It aggregates everything for you. And once again, the best information, the best answers and decisions come from the people that have the best information. So let's see, ConVision, what else did we build that was super cool? I'm not going to show you our financials because that's private. Email analytics was good. This was big because we have, I think there's 35 emails that we have. Let me see the users. All these users, right? Blur them out, producer Dave, because we don't want people spamming us. But if you look, there's sent, received, quality, average response time. And some of these guys are field guys, so they have an email, but they're mostly just getting information or using their email to access like Drive or CRM. And then there's a sentiment score and then an average response time. And I wanted to look at this because someone's crazy, right? Either us as the contractor, we're either crazy, or sometimes our client might be a little crazy. And we ran into situations where we have a client or two a year that says, well, you guys never said this, or I haven't heard from you guys. You didn't email me back, this, that, the other. And they might say that to one person's face. And then they come talk to me and it's a completely different person. They're like super happy and they are very understanding and, just a totally different type of person. And so I built this to track as soon as there's a shift, right? So I wanted to see when we're emailing people, whether it's a subcontractor, a client, a vendor, whoever, when is there a shift? And at what point was there a shift? And so I built out, like you can see this. This has a red flag on it because I freaking yelled at this dude. On the commercial side, it's a commercial relationship, and it's not even, these are national contractors who just try to race us to the bottom. It's disgusting. But I have this little fire tab. It'll pull up, what fires I need to go through. Then I have this little watch tab, and it's like, hey, this person's maybe looking for different answers from different people and leaving people not CC'd in them anymore. A bunch of criteria. It also goes by time. Like, hey, this person has reached out and he's been waiting for 9 hours. And then there's wins. So these are like the good emails, like, hey, love the work. Love that there's great quality, and there's little tags. So all of that's really important too. Then there's weekly and monthly sentiment tracker. Then we could also go in and just track by the frustrated ones. I can go down here and start looking at, who's frustrated, who's not. Then I also built an AP system here where it goes and it tracks down all the emails that we've discussed of us reaching out to general contractors that they still owe us money. And as you can see here, there's quite a bit of overdue money that is due to us. And we're just fighting them to get paid. So yeah, this was a really cool tool. Also the chats. And I thought it was really cool because I never feel like, as the owner, I really get told the full story from all angles. And this allowed me to dive deeper into conversations, into conflicts, be able to look at, different, conversations that maybe someone didn't reply all. And was that intentional? What did they say? I can see that all now. So that was really cool. And I think a very useful tool that we built. Sub scorecard, that was cool too. It's basically every subcontractor, all of our team gets to rate them after we're done working with them. Oh, actually, I know what I'm going to show you guys. So this is like, we actually made a custom VPN. It's kind of cool. And an intake form, our service locations for different divisions, all that. But what is super cool, you guys are going to like this. This is something no one else has. And I know that no one else has it. I might not even be a little check-in. Oh, here we go. Okay, so this is a custom attribution tracker with an AI-powered pixel that we installed on our website. And we can see everything, baby. We can see who came to our website, how many sessions they've had, how many pages they've viewed, the first seen date, their location, based off of IP. Now, we don't store, for the legal people out there, we don't store that data, but we do have an aggressive cookie policy. And then if it was a paid ad, it shows what campaign brought that person to our website. And we could drill down into that and see. And then if it was direct, which I thought that the direct was interesting. Refresh. This is the meta. I thought it's interesting because, one, if someone's typing in our long ass domain, kitchenhomeandbath.com, my thoughts were it was a previous client, or it's a competitor, or, name the list of people who probably don't remember kitchenhomeandbath.com. So I always wanted to just see, like, okay, if someone's typing in us directly, where are they at? Where are they at? Right? So, because it could just be we were on a list that got scraped, just like I'm scraping permits and property management companies. Someone could scrape us too and try to sell us their shitty service. And some of these obviously have blockers too, which, like this, like, that's a huge red flag. Like, if there's no location that I can pull, red flag, because they're probably in India. I can't say Pakistan anymore after that. Actually, funny story. I was talking about marketing at a conference to a bunch of contractors, and I was speaking and I was giving, and this was before AI. It was probably like 4 years ago. And I made a reference to Pakistan, basically because you outsource, you go on Fiverr or Upwork or whatever. If you go to Pakistan, they will do like backlinks and citations for super cheap, but it's kind of like a, in my opinion, like a predatory way to get SEO work done. Anyways, I made a reference to that, and the director of the conference or whatever called me and said I was being racist. And so I can't say Pakistan anymore. Actually, I can say whatever I want. It's my podcast. All right. Anyways, pipeline, attribution, geography, households. So if multiple people come from the same IP, we could start batching them together. Once again, I could see if this is like a family of people, multiple devices, or if it's someone in New York or maybe someone overseas. Let's find one of them. Could be a call center, or it could just be you get the call of like, how would you like to get 50 more kitchen remodel leads this month? And it's like, yeah, well, then I can ban all their IPs and kick them off of my platform, which is sick too. Yeah, this is really useful. We also get a live feed so I can see who's on our website where. The one thing that we're working on right now is because we just got new credentials for developing on Meta as a SaaS developer, is the meta attribution and the true one-to-one attribution, to where like someone clicks like Google GMB compared to Google Ads compared to LSA. How do we delineate that? And then when they get to our website, what page are they converting on? When they convert, how do we take their name, address, phone number, email, their ID, essentially, let's say IP address. How do we put that into a client profile and then build an enrichment scraper around all that data to then understand what do these people like to do? So when I go on a job walk, I would love to know what kind of car they drive, where they work, what their profession is, hobbies, interests, everything else. And that's going to really steer me into conversations that are going to let them engage with me. Now, some of you might think that's disingenuous. And I battled with that for a minute too, but I actually am just genuinely curious about the people we serve. And the more I know about them, the better it is for everyone, in my opinion. So back here, ooh, Home Assistant. This is sick too. And this is actually, so this was dope. We just built a little dashboard. We just moved shop, so don't judge. These are my kids. They're on spring break. And they're probably messing around in the shop. Yeah, my wife texted me saying she's upset with them right now because they won't be quiet. Anyways. But yeah, our shop, front of the shop, all that good stuff. So that was a super cool thing we built too. And then just some, sales training, valuation tickers. And yeah, I mean, really that's about it. I know it seems probably like a lot, and that, once again, what contractor in the right mind does all of that? Been super useful though. And it's been a game changer, especially if you have blind spots in your company. You can just expose the information and be able to act more effectively on good information and make decisions faster. You could also just have AI that is all knowing and help you make decisions. If you're kind of in a choke point, you have something to soundboard off of. So anyways, that's all I got today. Just wanted to share that with you guys and let you know that AI for the trades is here. It is attainable. I don't come from a tech background, and we have built quite the suite of tools. And so if you have any questions on these, hit us up. We built PromptSub specifically for this to give contractors access to AI prompts to help them work more effectively. So you can go to promptsub.com as well and look at the prompts and everything we have, and that might help you out too. So if you got any value from this, like, share, subscribe, comment, send it to a contractor in need, and we'll see you on the next one.
Optimize a plan. If you building for tomorrow, then you building like a man. AIS, we don't follow the trend. We said it.